Donald Trump is reopening Alcatraz. So here's what it was actually like to be an inmate and why it was abandoned. Located in San Francisco Bay, Alcatraz wasn't your average prison. In fact, it wasn't even intended to be one. It was actually a heavily fortified military base used for over 80 years. However, in the 1930s, at the height of America's gangster-fueled crime waves, the government wanted to send a strong message to the public that they were cracking down hard. And so, in 1933, kind of like in 2025, they ordered the military base to be rebuilt and reopened, but this time as a maximum security, minimum privilege, inescapable facility that would eventually house the worst of the worst. If you were violent, uncooperative, or tried to escape any other prison, you would be sent here. Some of the most notorious were Birdman, Al Capone, and George Machine Gun Kelly. Their cell was this tiny 5-foot by 9-foot concrete box that came with the absolute basics: a sink, toilet, table, and mattress that was made out of straw. There was only one inmate per cell, and the bed would fold against the wall because of how small they were. Prisoners at Alcatraz were only given 4 rights: the right to food, clothing, shelter, and medical care. Everything else was earned. Even simply talking was a privilege. Before it was scrapped, there was actually a rule of complete silence, and you were only allowed to talk during meals and recreation. If you broke the rules, you were sent to an even more basic dark cell, and you could be locked in solitary for weeks. Because of how secure the prison needed to be, there was a maximum of 200 prisoners at a time, and each were counted up to 13 times a day. It even had some of the first metal detectors ever used in a prison. But despite this, and being an island surrounded by water, over its 29 years of operation, 36 men still tried to escape, of which 23 were caught, 6 were shot and killed, 2 drowned, and 5 were simply listed as missing and presumed to have drowned. So why the hell did it get abandoned? Well, it was expensive as $3 to $5 million a year just for basic operations. And it was roughly 3 times more expensive than any other prison in the country. But now that it's been turned into a tourist destination, it actually makes around $30 million a year just through ticket sales. So it's very clear to reopen Alcatraz in 2025 wouldn't make sense financially. But it never did. It was always kind of a symbol to the public that things were going to change. And it seems like that's exactly what we're seeing again today. But the question is, what do you think? Should Alcatraz be reopened as a prison, or should that part of America be left in the past?